I'm going to start by showing you a picture of my husband and I. We've been married for 12 and a half years, and this is us on our 10-year anniversary trip. I know, and you're saying, before you go there and start using your imagination and thinking, what a perfect couple. I bet they had a great trip on their 10-year anniversary with no children to San Diego. I bet it was the perfect vacation. What a great guy he looks like. Well, I just want to shoot all of that down. But he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Sometimes he just makes bad choices with his words, you know what I mean? So let me tell you how the trip really went down. So we get on the airplane, and I walk to my seat, and I'm seeing dirty look, dirty look, dirty look, flight attendant, dirty look. And I'm thinking, is this in my head? What is going on here? Do I have, like, a monkey on my shoulder? So we get to my seat, and I'm thinking, oh, it's probably just in my head. Honey, did you see that? Yes. They were all dissing you. You were getting dirty looks. Now, granted, I was about 5 or 6 months pregnant, and I looked about 18 months pregnant. But still, don't judge me for my due date. You don't know what my babies do. So I sit down, I get over that, and I'm in the middle, my husband's on the end, and then this guy's coming. He's coming. And I actually love sitting next to people on the plane and trying to share Jesus with them and everything. But so he crosses over, and the smell of cigarette smoke and fish. Fish, okay? Now, when I'm pregnant, I'm nauseous and I puke for not the whole time, okay? So you're throwing fish and cigarette smoke at me, I'm not feeling you, you know what I mean? So does it get any worse than that? Yes, it does, because 2 beers later on the hour flight at lunchtime, seriously. So now we've got beer, fish, cigarette guy next to me. I'm holding it in with all my being to not throw up on him and think, this is the perfect trip. I know it's gonna be great. And so we get over that. I survive, I don't puke. Get off the plane, we get to this little awesome hole-in-the-wall Lebanese restaurant. Everything's going great until my husband opens his mouth. And so we're talking, and he's like, honey, I feel so bad for you when you're pregnant. It's just so hard on you. Everything, I just feel bad, all your throwing up and everything. And even more than that, it just like affects every part of you. And even your arms look different. Seriously. My arms look different? Yeah. You're just saying I have arm fat right now. Like I really need to hear that. Thanks for calling me fatty. No, honey, no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying they're fat. I'm not saying that. They just, it's like they have extra nutrients on them. Nutrients. Like I've got broccoli hanging off my arms? No, you are calling me arm fat lady. Why would you say that to your pregnant wife who's totally hormonal and psycho on your 10-year anniversary? Why? Don't feel sorry for him, though, because I put it on my blog and stuff, and word got out, and he was like, high five hero. All the men thought he was a total stud because they felt better about themselves. I do that stuff all the time. So good to know, dude. Way to go. So anyway, the reason I tell you that story is because it's funny, but also because I know you can relate. On some level, everyone in here can relate to that. And what you can relate to in that story is the imperfect. You can relate to stinky man next to you on the plane, that plane ride that we've had. You can relate to the relationship or the husband that says things that they shouldn't say, the imperfect conversations, the imperfect husband. You can relate to the imperfect. All of us can. So the question then is, why as women do we so struggle with perfectionism and wanting ourselves, everything to be perfect, every area to be perfect, and we strain and we strive to be perfect, and it leads us to dissatisfaction and struggle because life is not perfect, but we set up these huge goals and accomplishments that we are going to perfectly accomplish so that we can find our worth there and our value. And then when it doesn't happen, we find ourselves down here in depression, anxiety, stress, and it totally messes us up, and it leads us to sin and dissatisfaction because it's never quite good enough, is it? Can you imagine if we could learn to live in process and not perfection? Can you imagine if we would stop pursuing unattainable perfection and instead had our eyes fixed on Jesus and relied on him to perfect or to mature us in that certain area? Tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to learn to live in process and not perfection. And I'm going to cover 3 different areas of perfectionism. Although there are more, I'm just going to talk about 3. And then I'm going to talk about where they lead to, and then I'm going to give a couple suggestions as how we can kind of get away from that and grow in those areas.